Welcome back to the show, everyone, and thanks for joining us. You know what? This week, talk to the hand, because we want to talk to you about Talk to Me. I'm Dusty Lane.
I'm Nick Cummins.
And I'm Jason Mitchell.
And we are the Cinebytes.
Hello?
I came for you. We have such sights to show you.
It was an excellent day for an exorcism.
I said, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains in.
I want to play a game.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was. This is God.
We all go a little mad sometimes. Haven't you?
But sometimes that is better.
And we're back. Thank you again, everyone, for joining the Cinebytes. We got a good one this week, guys. We're talking about the 2023 wide release of Talk to Me from Danny and Michael Philippou. What'd you guys think about this one?
This is hands down the best horror movie to come out this year.
Yeah, you think so?
Oh, yeah.
Strong words.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Okay. I mean, I can dig it. I'm not going to argue that too much. Obviously, it's an A24 release. There were a bunch of different, smaller production companies that had a hand in this. I think mainly Maslow Entertainment was the big one from Australia. But yeah, man, I had a great time. Nick and I saw this in an early release in the theater, and it was fucking great. I don't know. I had a really good time.
Yeah, watching it again last night, I was almost giddy to watch it again. I remembered how much I enjoyed it in the theater, and I hadn't watched it since, and so jumping in last night, I was like, all right, let's get into it. And then I forgot how fucked a couple of the scenes were. And
I was going to say, man,
oh, yeah.
in certain parts, I was kind of not really excited to revisit, because I was like, this movie's fucking heavy, man.
It is very heavy. The themes it gets into, some of the imagery is just absolutely insane. I was just sitting there trying to think how they even shot some of the stuff that they did. Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, this movie is fantastic on every level.
Yeah. What do you got, Jason?
I mean, overall, it's a good movie. I mean, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. It's a new, fresh idea, you know?
Yeah, definitely an original take on the whole possession angle. I like that a lot. All right, so we'll go through our little rundown here. Obviously rated R, because how in the fuck could you not be for certain things that happen in this movie? 95-minute runtime, released in July of 2023, directed by Danny and Michael Philippou, which they have a YouTube channel called Raka Raka, right?
They're the Raka Raka brothers.
So they've been doing cinematic sort of things through that channel, and it was sort of a test run to get to this point where they're releasing a feature release.
Yeah, I was kind of watching a little the featurette on the bonus features last night, and it was cool to hear them talk about their build up to their first feature film.
Mm-hmm. So our setting is Adelaide, Australia, where they're from, by the way. And the plot is basically the latest social media trend. The challenge is, fucking talk to the hand. Like I said in the intro, it's a 90 seconds of possession is the idea here. But there are a lot of parallels to drugs through this.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, the hand and the feeling that you get through the possession is representing sort of the idea of kids trying drugs.
Yeah, for the first time getting hooked on it, kind of. That's what Hannah was like, well, why would they want to? I was like, well, why do people do hard drugs?
Right.
They're just going for that feeling. And, with possession, they were, of course, a demon would make you feel euphoric while trying to capture your soul forever.
Right. What was the Mitch Hedberg joke about? People ask me if I want to drink red wine, and say they're like, "Oh, don't drink red wine; it gives me a headache or whatever." And he's like, "Well, yeah, but the first and the middle part are amazing." Hey, Mitch, you want an apple? No, eventually it'll be a core. So yeah, our character list here, we've got obviously our main character Mia, played by Sophia Wilde, knocks it out of the fucking park. I don't think there's a bad actor in this movie, actually.
No, I think they're all really good. Everybody does a really good job.
Mm-hmm. Mia's bestie Jade, played by Alexandra Jensen. Jade's brother Riley, played by Joe Bird. The only recognizable face in this entire movie was Jade's mom, Sue, played by Miranda Otto, or Éowyn from Lord of the Rings. I think that was the first time I had seen her in anything since then, actually.
Yeah, I did. That was the only thing I could think of I'd seen her in, but I was like, that's fucking cool that she's in this movie.
Mm-hmm. And two of the main party people here, Haley and Joss. Haley played by a trans actor, Zoe Terakis, and apparently this movie was banned in certain regions of the world because of that. That's unfortunate. Joss played by Chris Alosio. I think I'm pronouncing that right, I hope. Max, Mia's dad, played by Marcus Johnson. And then in the beginning scene, we've got Cole and Duckett. Cole goes to the party to get his brother Duckett, who's all fucked up. But that's Ari McCarthy and Sonny Johnson. Fiona, I wrote it down because it was in the cast list, but I'm not entirely sure who Fiona is, to be entirely honest.
I didn't see that name pop up when I was looking last night.
Well, I think when I was like looking up, trying to get all the specs and stuff, like IMDb, and I think maybe even like the wiki on it listed the cast in order of appearance, which never really makes sense to me. Like, put the main characters first.
Yeah, and it's never like, I don't think it's consistent, because some movies it is like the main characters, and other movies it's an appearance, and that didn't make sense to me while I was trying to figure out who was who last night.
Which IMDb is kind of, isn't it like anybody can kind of put shit on there, so you can't really trust 100% of what you see on there.
It can all be edited.
Right.
It is. You do have to have actual credentials to edit. You can't just even to leave a review, like you have to have a verified account with them and stuff. So gotcha. I mean, I know IMDb, there's a pro version that's paid that like legitimate actors use IMDb to find work. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think it's pretty legit. I kind of bounce back and forth between them and Rotten Tomatoes when I'm looking at critic scores.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Last honorable mention as far as the cast list is concerned is Cookie the dog. Has a nice little highlight scene here.
Cookie's having a great time, that scene.
Yeah, at least Cookie is, yeah. I don't
Nobody else is. Everybody's just disgusted.
Oh my God. No, I think everyone else is having a decent time with it, except for Daniel, obviously. Real quick, cinematography by Aaron McCliskey and music by Cornell Wilczek. So yeah, I think that'll about bring us to our opening here. This crazy ass pool party where we got like some Aussie gangster rap bumping, which is there's like 2 or 3 scenes throughout this movie where they got that going, and I fucking dig it every time.
Dude, me too. The needle drops in here. I was just like, I need to look these songs up and add them to a playlist because these fucking rule.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely.
Music was great for sure.
The one specifically where he's saying something about, like, that's why I called it, like, gangster rap, because he's like, oh, you know what's happening in Melbourne? You know what's happening in Brizzy? Like, he's just, like, dropping all these areas. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. So at this party, we see this dude who does not look happy. Cole, we find out later is his name. He's coming into this party, and I think he sees someone who looks like a mom at some point. Like, is she like sponsoring this party?
It's definitely a mom. Hannah pointed it out when we first watched it, and then I went back and rewound it after we got done. Yeah. And yeah, he like stops and talks to the mom, and I don't know if she's just like, whatever, have the party, kids.
No, she's like, get your brother under control.
She's literally cutting up like fruit or something.
Yeah. But no, she goes, get your brother under control. Something's fucking going on with Duckett. He keeps on saying the name. I didn't really catch it the first time we watched it in the theater. Like, what the fuck is a Duckett? I thought that was fucking currency from the 1400s or whatever. But no, he does end up... people in the party point him toward this one room where his brother has locked himself inside. Yep. And he's like, you know, the one guy's like, oh, I'm getting ready to call the cops. You better do something about this dude. So I wonder what he was doing before that. But the kid ends up yelling at Cole because he's like, starts trying to break the fucking door down. He's like, oh, my mom's door. I ain't worried about that fucking door, man. Get out of my way. I need to talk to my brother. I need to get him out
my
of here.
brother's in there and you guys are telling me he's in trouble. Like, I'm fucking tearing that door down.
Right. So yeah, he busts into this door, and then we see Duckett has his back to us, and he's sitting on a bed. He's got like lacerations and bruises and stuff all over the place. He's not doing well.
Right.
No, So I rewound it a couple times because I thought I heard it the first time, and he actually says, get the fuck away from me. I think I'll hurt you.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. He says, I think I'm going to hurt you.
Okay. All right, nice catch. That would have been enough for me. All right, no problem, man.
Yeah.
You fucking
All right, see you later. Good luck. Love you.
So he finally does wrangle Duckett, and he starts taking him out of the party. And when he walks out, he sees everybody fucking filming. They got their cell phones up and they're filming it. And he's like, fucking turn your phones off. What is wrong with you people?
Yeah. One of the cool things I caught in the bonus features last night was they said that part, obviously not the possession, was based off a real thing that happened to one of the Philippou brothers who was there at a party. His buddy was doing drugs, and he was having just like a really, really bad trip. And he was trying to get his buddy out of there, and everybody had their phones on him. And he's like, I flipped out at the party. And so he's like, that's where I initially got this idea, is from this real thing that happened to me and a friend.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You hear about that shit happening where, like, yeah, someone gets into a fight, and, like, it's just the society that we're in now. It's kind of fucked up that people will be quicker to pull their phones out to film something
Rather than
try to run in and help. Yeah,
Right.
what the fuck? I don't know. But any dang way, so he's yelling at the people to turn their phones off. I don't think that they do, but he continues to try to get his brother out of there. Meanwhile, Duckett grabs a fucking knife, stabs Cole in the shoulder, and then walks outside and stabs himself in the fucking forehead.
Yeah, it's brutal. Very brutal scene. Whole
Good
party
Lord.
scatters, everybody's screaming.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what do you fucking do in that case? Like, party's over, dude.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I wrote down like this whole opener rules, like the vibe change, like just how intense that quick exchange goes with stabbing his brother and then, killing himself. Like,
Yeah.
it's so fast, so intense, and it's like, all right, this is the kind of movie you're in for, and it's gonna slowly unfold, but this is all gonna make sense later.
For sure, yeah. It grabs you and doesn't let go until the end.
I wrote that down, the second act. Like, once that second possession, like the kind of the possession montage happens, I said, like, it's almost like the hand in the movie reaches out and grabs you and doesn't let you go
Ooh, I like that.
until the end of the movie.
So we cut from the party to we've got our introduction to Mia, our main character, who's listening to recordings of her mom, who is dead. I guess she's been dead for a couple of years. It's her remembrance day or whatever, like her memorial, 2-year memorial.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There's a funny scene after she gets done, like she's talking to her aunt in the beginning here, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm kind of fucked up, whatever. Max, who's Mia's dad, then picks her up and takes her home, and he asks her if she's getting a cold or something. She's at the sink trying to do dishes, and like he's talking to her, and she can't hear him because the water's running, so she turns it off, and she's like, what? And then he says whatever it is he's trying to say. He's like, how you doing or whatever. She's like, oh, I'm fine. And then there's silence. She waits for a minute to see if he's gonna say anything else, and he doesn't. And she turns the water on and he starts talking again. It's like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, I kind of got that as like he wanted her to pay attention, so he kind of fucked with her a little bit. Like, no, I see that you're waiting for me to talk. I'm going to do it when you turn the water back on, so I know you're listening.
Right. But then Mia gets saved by the bell because Riley calls her and he's like, hey, my sister's a piece of shit. Can you come pick me up?
Freaking Jade.
God damn it, Jade.
Buzzkill in half this movie.
Yeah, dude. She was supposed to come pick him up and she didn't. And then we see Riley hanging out with his shitty friend James. And he's like, oh yeah, my fat mom was meant to pick me up. She's probably off getting dick somewhere. I'm like, God damn, dude.
Dude, fucking James is such a prick.
Yeah, dude, I hate that kid.
Nobody's nice to Riley in this whole movie. And, I kind of wrote down that's why he feels the need to kind of show off, like, no, I'll do it. Like,
Yeah.
I'll do the drugs. I'm a cool kid too.
Right.
And Jade even calls him out. She's like, oh, you're trying to impress your fucking friend? Like, and he's just like, no, I'm just doing it. I want to do it. It's going to be a good time.
Jason, I know you had a lot of like metal parties and stuff back in the day, right? Did you ever have anything like these going on? Any possession stuff?
Not quite, unfortunately.
No.
I mean, I think it would have been a lot more interesting, but
Probably.
we can definitely tell that Riley has self-esteem issues and he's trying to fit in here.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's obvious because he continues to hang out with his shitty friend James, who it's shitty because like, okay, so in this first scene, he says something about, like, he pulls out some cigarettes and he starts, like, he lights one up, James does. And Riley's like, don't smoke it. And he's like, don't tell me what to do, you piece of shit. And he says something about, oh, I need a new best mate. You're lame. I'm like, fucking Riley needs a new best mate. Fuck you, James.
Yeah, he calls him a pussy, and he's just like, you won't fucking smoke this, you pussy. And he's like, no, I won't smoke it because I don't want to get cancer, you moron.
Right. But then, of course, Mia pulls up while Riley's holding the cigarette, and she's like, oh, you're smoking now, you little feral kid? And he's like, no, I didn't smoke it. And James is like, he's lying. He's already had half a packet. A packet? Okay. More Aussie stuff.
Yeah.
So they leave, Mia and Riley, and in their car, they're fucking having a grand old time. They're fucking belting out Chandelier.
Yeah.
And suddenly they see in the road, it doesn't take long. Mia fucking almost immediately into this, you know, them jamming out this fucking song. She sees something in the road and, like, her face changes immediately and she stops. And it's a fucking dead kangaroo, or, well, dying kangaroo laying in the road. And I'm like, are they, like, deer here? Like, we got deer all the time laying on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Is that what kangaroos are in Australia?
They must be.
I listened to, like, a pop culture podcast called The Weekly Planet, and they're from Australia.
Yeah.
And they talk about it all the time that, you know, like, here in the U.S., we think of kangaroos as this cool, like, mystical animal that we don't ever get to see, and they're just deer, and they're fucking annoying. Like, they've talked about that before.
Well, yeah, they're bouncy little tiger kangaroos. I remember that one, the video of the kangaroo that's got that dude's dog in a headlock or some shit, and he goes up and punches it.
Yeah, you don't want to fuck with a kangaroo, man.
Dude, no. Have you
They'll
seen how
whoop your
fucking
ass.
muscular they look when they're, like, standing there? They look like a fucking cut-up, like, bodybuilder dude.
And a
Size you
male
up.
kangaroo can get up to, I believe, 9 feet tall.
What the fuck?
Like, they're fucking huge.
oh, my God.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that shit, and that's another reason to stay the hell out of Australia.
It's also just like, you know, you think about that and you're like, man, if you hit a 9 foot tall, beefy motherfucker in Australia,
Right.
you're
Oh my
just
God.
fucking your car. Like, I think about hitting even just a big buck and it's like, oh, that'll fuck my car up, but it'll mostly be fine. You know, it'll
Yeah.
repair. You hit a 9 foot fucking kangaroo. I don't know that your car's coming back from that.
Well, speaking of fucking your car up, Riley is like, oh, it's in pain. You need to put it out of its misery. And Mia's like, okay. And they get in the car, and her plan is to fucking just run it over again?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
backs up about 100 feet and gasses it.
What the fuck,
And
man?
she swerves at the last minute. And he's like, we can't leave it there. It's dying. And she's like, I don't have the guts to actually do this.
But, like, you don't have something in the trunk you can, like, whack it in
Tire
the head with
iron or
real quick
something?
Right.
Yeah.
Call the cops, maybe. Have
That's
them
what she
take
should
care
have
of
done.
it. Yeah.
Oh, what she should have. Jade mentions in a couple minutes here, why didn't you call the RSPCA? And she's like, I don't know.
I
Like,
just didn't. It
we were
was
gonna-
dying, and I'm a kid. I don't know what to do here.
We were going to kill it with our car.
well, she tells Riley, oh, don't worry about it. Another car will come. Like, okay. And that car's going to do the same shit you're doing right now.
Yeah, and gun laws are crazy strict in Australia, so nobody's gonna have a gun.
Yeah, also true. Was it Port MacArthur or something like that? Some crazy shit happened, and since then, guns are banned.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I just know that they're really strict on their gun laws there.
So they just leave this kangaroo to slowly die, which is great. And then they get back to Jade, Riley, and Sue's house. Jade fucking sucks immediately. She's just ignoring the shit out of Mia. Mia's trying to talk to her. She's also a shitty friend. James and Jade.
I think Mia, Riley, everybody, she's infatuated with her new boyfriend. So
Yeah.
so Jade's kind of worried about Daniel and what he's doing, obviously forgetting to pick up Riley. And
Right. Which apparently Mia and Daniel have a little bit of a history together. She's like,
Right.
oh, we held hands once.
Yeah.
kids.
So yeah, Daniel is on the phone with Jade, or she tries to answer, and Mia's like, get the fuck off the phone, man. Like, I'm here talking to you. You're ignoring me. After this is when Mia and Jade look at this challenge video for the first time, I think. And they see someone in the chair possessed, and they're like, oh, do you think it's real? And they're wanting to find out. I'm not sure if they're aware at this point that their friend has the hand.
I don't think so. I think Haley tells them later about it. And that's what prompts them, like, oh yeah, hell yeah, we want to try that. Like, we saw the video last night, because yeah, I think it's Jade pipes up and she's like, no fucking way, it's real. Like,
Right.
they're messing around. It's all for clout. Like,
Yeah. Well, another thing, the reason Mia is trying so hard to get through to Jade is like, hey, it's been 2 years since my mom died. I'm kind of fucked up today. Can you be a friend to me, please?
yeah,
And
I mean,
she's just worried about Daniel.
Right.
yeah, I mean, that's one of the strong themes in the movie is, Mia dealing with her grief and how she's processing that. And, nobody's really there to listen to her except her dad, but she doesn't like her dad. So,
Right. Yeah. And they're talking about going to this party, and she's like, Jade's like, oh, well, can Daniel come? And Mia's like, well, yeah, if he gives my Gucci some attention. Jade's like, Daniel will not be touching your Gucci. Also, please don't talk to my brother about your Gucci. And she's like, the boy's got to learn sometime. This is about the time when Sue comes home, Miranda Otto, Jade and Riley's mom. She's a fucking asshole, like immediately.
Oh, she's a firecracker, man. It's hilarious.
I was going to say, I didn't think she was an asshole. I think she was just ahead of the curve. She was like, I was a fucking teenager once, too. I know how this goes.
Well, no, dude. She walks in, and like the second...
She's a dick to Mia.
She's a dick to Riley, too. She walks in, and the second she walks in, she's like, oh, hi, Mom. Can I help, please? Like, you just fucking got here, and this kid is doing his homework. Calm your ass down.
Yeah.
And she also throws out get your shit off the table. Fuck you. I'm doing my homework. God.
Yeah, I think that was just a drive home. Everybody's a dick to Riley, and that's probably where his self-esteem issues are coming from, is home, because Mom's always just, passive-aggressively just telling him what to do.
I guess.
I think he should have hopped too, personally.
Okay, but goddamn, she wasn't in the door for 3 seconds.
Listeners, Jason's the only one without kids in the room, so
That's true.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to do this.
Yeah, Riley's supposed to be the man of the house. Get out there and help your mom. Get off your ass.
Yeah, we don't ever hear anything about their dad, do we?
No, nothing's ever said.
Nope.
Interesting. So this is where we get to the, quotes, sneaking out scene where Miranda Otto's all over it. She's like, oh, you're saying goodnight to me, checking on if I'm going to go to bed. Are you sneaking out? That's the only time you ask if I'm going to bed, is if you're sneaking out, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
She got her all figured out.
She literally is like, bye, Jade.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, close the door on your way out. She's like, Mom, I'm not sneaking out. She's like, yeah, whatever. Okay. But Riley tags along, and there's a moment here where Mia pulls out her phone. Her dad's calling. She ignores it because she doesn't like being around him. He's just kind of a mess since the mom died too.
Yep.
Man. So we're at this next party where we get some more gangster rap. I fucking dig it. This is the like Melbourne Brizzy one. Like,
Yeah, this is the really dope one.
hell yeah. We are introduced to Haley at this point, and she is not fucking pleased about Mia or Riley being at this party. She mentions something about, oh, we're babysitting now.
Haley's a fucking dick the whole time to everybody.
Well, yeah. Riley walks in, and Haley's like, oh, great, we're babysitting.
Yeah.
And then immediately after that, notices Mia walk in and is like, fuck me. Okay, what else can possibly happen at this party?
It's like you bring the child and the grieving girl to the party. Way to go.
Right.
Buzzkill.
Party is held at Joss's house, which I kind of like Joss. I don't know, like...
Yeah, he's just there to have fun. He's not...
That's the vibe I get from him.
He doesn't do anything in particular to put anybody in danger. He's not an asshole to anybody. He's just like, yeah, man, fine. You want to do it? Let's do it. Let's get down.
Yeah, he's like the chillest one, I feel like. I dig Joss's vibe.
Yeah, I'd party with Josh. Joss.
Joss. But yeah, this is when they bust out the fucking hand, and Joss immediately wants Riley to do it, and he's like, be pretty fucking sick to hook the kid up, right? And Jade's immediately like, fuck you, no way.
Like, my brother is not fucking doing this.
But then Mia volunteers. Haley's like, tie her up. Joss is like, yes, sir. All right. And here's the deal. 90 seconds or they'll want to stay. You have to light a candle to open the door, in quotes. You have to blow it out to close it. And this thing is basically a haunted hand that was chopped off of a psychic and embalmed and then covered in ceramic. And it looks like a cast, like a bunch of people fucking signed it or something. There's writing all over it.
Right.
I heard it was a Satanist.
Yeah, that's what Haley says.
Yeah.
The hand of a Satanist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's all kinds of writing on there. They said they put like little Easter eggs in there they hope to bring back for the sequel, which was almost immediately greenlit. This movie was made for $4.5 million, and it made close to 50 by the time of its end of its theatrical run.
I did see that. Yeah, hell yeah, good for them.
Yeah.
So they pull out the hand. The phones all come up immediately. Everyone wants to record the shit. So Mia has to hold the hand and say, "Talk to me." And when she does, she immediately sees an old man and she's freaked the fuck out.
Yeah, it's almost weird to me. A lot of these ghosts, I guess, that pop up almost look like they're from a shipwreck or something to me. Everybody's all wet.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean?
A lot of them are.
A lot of that didn't really make sense to me. Definitely creepy and good.
Yeah.
Good effects, you know what I mean? But I just didn't understand where these people were actually coming from.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of took it as rotting. I really like the effects. The guy that shows up first, and then like the second lady that ends up attaching herself, like they do look a little like off, and I definitely agree that they look wet for some reason.
The old man looks a little more put together. Maybe he died more recently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that could be that, because that's kind of, I just took it as rot, like they were just rotting away, you know.
Well, she sees the old man and she's like, "Who the fuck was that?" And Haley's like, "I don't know, dude. It's different every time." And that's actually proven right. The second time she goes, "Talk to me," because now it's a different spirit. And I thought that was like a drowned woman or something.
Yeah,
like she's all different parts of her face are kind of distended. And
There's like a bubbling sound effect that they do with her. So yeah, I think it's right. I think they're just showing up like how they died, kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. Maybe she was in a car crash.
Yeah. So this, what I think to be a drowned woman, she's nasty as hell. Mia lets her in, and then here we fucking go. Like, off to the races. Immediately she looks over into the corner, Mia does, and she goes in this like possessed sounding voice, "Oh, there he is." And there's nobody fucking standing there.
Sophie Wilde's performance in this scene especially, I mean, she's great in the whole movie, but I saw an interview where she said that's actually her, like she was doing a voice for that wasn't something they like superimposed over her. Like the way she just snaps into this like possessed, you know, talking to him and, "Oh, look at you," and then the run scene, like that just immediately sent chills down my spine again. Like,
yeah, she's fucking great in this scene. Yeah, she looks over at Riley and she goes, "They like you."
And do you think that's kind of like I mean, we talked about it last week with The Exorcist, like they kind of attach themselves to, you know, weak-minded individuals or something like that, kind of
or people that are vulnerable.
Yeah,
which Riley definitely is.
Definitely is.
And I don't know if his age has anything to do with it. Maybe more a younger, innocent sort of soul they want to claim.
That's what I was gonna say, like an innocent, like he's pure, still a virgin, probably, kind of thing.
I guarantee it.
Right.
Yeah, poor Riley.
Well, I mean, he's fucking like 13, 14.
Yeah.
Leave the kid alone. It's like in Hocus Pocus when Max walks up to what he thinks is a cop and he's like, "Hey," I think Danny, actually, his sister, outs him. She's like, "Yeah, he lit the black flame candle and he's a virgin," as if I know what that means. And then the cop looks down at him like 14-year-old Max and he's like, "Are you a virgin?" Like, fucking of course he is.
Yeah, like, come on, not everybody's fucking on the first date here.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, especially underage. Goddamn.
Yeah.
There's a part where a door opens and slams by itself while Mia's possessed. And her eyes turn like completely fucking black.
Oh my God. The fucking contacts they use to make the eyes just covered in that, like, yeah, like their whole eyes are black and it's so fucking off-putting.
She's an interesting looking person as it is. Like she's got unique features. And I think her eyes are a little wider set. And I think those contacts on her specifically make her look almost alien, like otherworldly.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool shit. So Mia doesn't end up letting go of the hand after 90 seconds. This is where we get her repeating the run, run, run. And that's creepy as shit.
Yeah, I'll split you.
Yeah.
I don't know that she doesn't let go. She can't. It kind of seems like the hand, like I said.
Well, she's possessed. Yeah, the spirit doesn't want to let go.
Yeah, so, it's not so much that she keeps holding on to the hand for past the 90 seconds. I mean, you see it like they have to pry the hand off of her, and everybody else that sees it later on in the montage, you see them taking away the hand.
Right. It's not a conscious decision.
That's why I think it was just like Haley had just got it that kind of a day thing, because they hadn't, like they'd seen the video, but they didn't know all the ins and outs of it.
Right.
Because they were like, oh shit, we got to rip this thing off of her? We didn't know that. Like, that's kind of how I looked at it.
Right. There's a part later where like Mia goes to like do the hand thing by herself. I'm like, that's not a good idea. Like, how the fuck do you get yourself out?
Ouija board thing. You don't fucking do it by yourself. Yeah, Don't talk to the possessed hand by yourself, you fucking moron.
Yeah, I feel like we're seeing the same things in these movies, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be some similarities in certain things. That's The Exorcist was a possession movie.
Right.
Well, obviously we covered. And this is another, like we said, different take on a possession movie. You're going to have certain elements that are going to be in all of those, you know.
And I love how they catch that. Like, they're so in depth with that, like, you know, teen party vibe, the viral sensation of, you know, everybody's trying to upload the first TikTok video of this challenge or whatever. And I mean, I think they perfectly capture that spirit of being in high school, wanting to do this stupid shit. Like
the social media race.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But when they finally do rip the hand away from her, I'm not entirely sure how much longer than 90 seconds it was, but it was long enough. We'll find out soon. But she fucking loved it. She was like, it was great.
Yeah, it was amazing.
She said I was glowing.
Yeah. So that's kind of the end of the scene. We cut to, we're back at Riley and Jade's house, I believe. And there's this cool, I think they're axolotls in the aquarium.
Mm-hmm.
Those things are cool as shit. I want some.
I want one of those so bad. They're fucking expensive here, though.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
That makes sense. They're probably an exotic pet considered here.
I haven't looked into it or anything. Yeah,
You probably should.
They're
After we're done
expensive.
recording this, please look into axolotls.
We'll set up a tank in the corner.
Hell yeah, man. They'll be the studio pet.
Do we have our first mascot?
I think so, yeah.
Axolotl for Cinebytes.
So Riley is scared seemingly of this thunderstorm. He's still, you know, a little kid at heart, and he wants to come in and sleep with Jade. And she's like, look,
Hell
dude.
no.
Yeah, she's like, you're not 9 anymore.
Yeah,
Get the fuck out of
the
here.
hell out of my room. It sounds like pretty typical brother-sister stuff. You know what I mean?
For sure. He then, like, immediately walks out and leaves her door open. She's pissed. She's like, close the fucking door. And he doesn't.
More typical brother-sister stuff.
Egging her on a little bit. But then he walks in to find Mia, who's like sleeping on the couch or something, some kind of pullout.
Like a pull-out.
Yeah, and this room is cool as shit. It's almost like a greenhouse where like half the wall and maybe a little bit of the ceiling-ish.
Some kind of like sunroom or something almost.
Sunroom, yeah, that makes sense for sure. But yeah, he walks in and sees Mia and she's awake. She heard the whole thing. She's like, what a bitch.
Come cuddle, I guess. I did write down, and I mean, you kind of get mixed signals here a little bit that, you know, she does view Riley as her brother, and like,
yeah,
you know, it's kind of that like that best friend thing, you know, and I just think she does care about the kid, and she's like, I'm not gonna let you sleep if you're scared. Like, I've been there, like, you know.
They have a good relationship, and they both need someone in this moment. They're both vulnerable. Mia's still fucked up about her mom.
Yeah, she's grieving in this moment. She's still watching her videos, listening to her mom, and then, you know, Riley's having nightmares, and it's like, yeah, fucking course he would after what he just saw the first party. Like, also, it seemed kind of like maybe it was baby's first party. And so,
right.
What?
I think Riley says he doesn't get nightmares, which good for you, buddy. Like, they kind of suck. But Mia mentions that she does have a recurring nightmare where she sees her mom. I think she said she sees her mom and there's no reflection, or she's looking at herself and there's no reflection.
She's looking at herself in the mirror and she doesn't see a reflection.
Like she's not there.
And
she doesn't exist.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know what it means, but it just fucking scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, as it would. I mean, yeah. He asks how it felt to be possessed, and she's like, it fucking felt incredible. I was in the passenger seat, and like, I don't know, I would love to do it again, even though it scared the shit out of me, kind of a thing.
Yeah, she describes it as euphoric, and like I said before, she was glowing.
Right.
Again, I wrote down there, like, that's exactly what the demon wants you to think, because you were glowing and euphoric, and yeah, you're totally fine.
Come to the dark side. We have jackets.
We have melty men.
So Riley immediately fucks up the vibe, though, because he's like, hey, how'd your mom die?
Yeah.
I did think it was weird. Like, I know that she was watching the video or whatever, but it's just like 2 years later, you're best friends with these people. They've kind of seemed like they've taken you in a little bit, and you've never talked to Riley about how your mom died.
Yeah, he says he knew bits of it, but
It's also like, it's that innocence of a kid kind of thing. Like, I mean, my kids are a lot younger than that, but they pop out with the most random questions of the day. And so, yeah, I'm just trying to make conversation. How'd your mom die?
yeah. Was that Cheaper by the Dozen remake? That kid's like, Daddy, what's Iraq? And he's like, it's a country.
Oh, yeah.
She tells him, oh, my mom took too many sleeping pills by accident. But my dad couldn't get into the room in the morning because she was laying on the other side of it. But there were scratches on the door and wood under her nails as if she was trying to get help and couldn't.
Right.
Which is, pretty fucking heavy.
Fucked up way to go, that's for sure.
There was a little funny part where Mia is like watching some like Australian version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And the question on it is, what is coprostastophobia? And apparently it's the fear of constipation.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, wow. Even this heavy-ass movie isn't above a poop joke.
No, you need that shit to break up the tension. Like we said, I don't even remember which movie we were talking about. But yeah, the comedy injected into it is necessary. I think we were talking about Get Out.
The Green Inferno.
It was the Green Inferno, yeah.
I was thinking maybe we mentioned it in Get Out too with Lil Rel Howery, who is a stand-up comedian. Like, yeah, we need that shit to... How heavy would this fucking movie be?
Yeah.
If it was just...
Well, because soon, there's no laughter pretty soon. It's all fucking balls to the wall.
Yeah.
After the second possession take.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at the end of the second possession take, actually. So they go to sleep. Mia, trying to be a good big sister, she takes his phone, she takes his headphones, and she's like, putting them away and everything.
Like tucking them in kind of thing.
Kind of, yeah. And then she walks away, and then another fucking hand reaches for him, and we see that it's one of those nasty, wet,
right,
decaying hands.
So I took this as that's Mia's hand.
That's how I took it too.
So
I didn't see that she walked
takes away his phone, his earbuds. She almost kind of tucks him in, and then you see a hand kind of graze his face a little bit, almost like somebody would do to a child sleeping, you know?
Right.
But I took it as that's Mia's hand.
Okay, because she's connected to the spirit world
because she was in too long. Yeah.
Right.
So
Okay.
she's already...
This is our first kind of glimpse. Like, yep, she was under for 97 seconds, and so
yeah, this is why you don't fuck around with this stuff.
It did attach to you. Yeah.
God damn it.
Because I do think she does get up. No, that's later. Never mind. Disregard what I'm saying.
Okay. So the next day we see Jade walk up to Haley and she's like, hey, so can we do the hand thing again? Daniel wants to try.
Right.
And Haley mentions, well, we can't go to Joss's. His place is all fucked up and he's pissed. Jade's like, all right, we'll come to my place. My mom leaves at, Haley goes, I have a party at 11. She goes, my mom leaves at 9. And Haley goes, all right, I'll see you at 10. So round 2, here we fucking go. And that's
jog
where
off.
that's where we get the great. She's like, all right, jog on.
Jog on. The hell out of my face.
Great Aussie slang going on there.
So good.
Daniel comes over to, I think, pick up Jade and Mia. Or no, he just comes over to the house. He's not picking anybody up. They're staying there. But Sue answers the door and like immediately slams it in her face. He's like, is Jade here? She's like, fuck.
Yeah, awesome scene. I said Sue once again coming in, and
yeah,
she's great. I love her.
She's pretty funny. Yeah, she plays the part well. But immediately she starts going around the house and she's like, hey, what time's the party? Trying to like trick everybody into telling her. And everybody's like, I don't know what you're talking about. There's no fucking party.
I already know. She already told me what time is the party, Riley.
Yep. Daniel does end up coming in. Mia's there. And she's like, well, what the fuck are you doing here? You just third wheeling for the night? And she's like, well, it sounds shitty when you put it that way. God.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of exchanges here between Sue and everybody that are just hilarious. She says something to Riley, you are not drinking tonight. I swear to God, I will punch you in the face.
Yeah.
Like little shit like that.
Yeah,
And then,
she also tells Daniel, my daughter's vagina is prohibited.
yeah, prohibited. You heard me.
This is they had even more of a banter. It was an extended scene
Oh.
on the bonus feature. And she just has a couple more one-liners. Like, it's not any more intense or anything. She just kind of goes on a couple more minutes, and I just thought it was funny.
Doing a tight five.
Yeah.
She looks over at Mia. She's like, hey, man, don't be giving him any drugs. I know you're a little druggy bitch. And she's like, I tried weed once. What the fuck?
Hey, why did you tell your mom?
So finally, Mom does end up leaving, and the party begins. And it's Daniel's turn. Joss mentioned something about it's the hand of a psychic that was cut off and embalmed. And Daniel's kind of trying to pry more information out of him. Joss is like, what, do you want a fucking spreadsheet, man? I don't know how this shit works. Just do it. So he gets tied up. And there's a cool camera flip when Daniel says, I let you in. And it kind of turns like 90 degrees along with his head. A lot of the cinematography in this movie is really fucking cool like that.
Yeah, it's jarring. It's quick. Like, I mean, even the montage itself is just so fucking raw. Like, it really puts you into the scene, I think.
Right. So immediately when he goes under, his body kind of starts taking on some characteristics of the possessed person. Like, his lips look all dirty.
Yeah, he's got some darkening around the eyes and his lips.
Yeah, he looks fucked completely. I mean, there's not really a better word for it. It's a discoloration of his whole face. He's got the eyes going on, the big contacts.
He starts choking too at first.
He does.
Yeah, because him and Riley both like have like a choking guttural sound.
Well, Jade goes, Haley, take the fucking hand off him. He's choking. Haley's like, no, wait.
Just
hang on a
wait.
second."
He's gonna come too.
Yeah. So
This is great for my viral video.
when Daniel finally is all the way under and fully possessed, he looks over at Jade and he goes, you make him soft.
Yeah, this is probably the most, I don't know, dirty the demon gets in the movie.
Yeah. Oh, big time.
Because this is giving me Exorcist vibes with all the sexual shit. He's rubbing himself. He's licking his lips.
Yeah.
All the comments are derogatory towards his girlfriend.
Yeah.
About them not having good sexual tension. You know, and it's
which they don't.
Right. Well, yeah, they're kids, you know.
Right.
But it's just extremely, extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah, Haley says the spirit's fucked. Like,
Right.
She's just like, oh man, like really digging in this
Yeah,
time.
like, this is a new one. Jesus. Okay. But after he says, you make him soft, meaning Daniel's dick, he looks over at Mia longingly, like, hey, baby, what's going on? Like, confirming Jade's suspicions of, like, oh, they have something going on, or, you know, pseudo-confirming.
I was
because
going
it's
to,
not.
manipulating her into thinking they
Right.
still actually have something going.
Sure, yeah. He ends up falling in the chair, and again, the camera kind of tracks with him, and it's a cool shot. When he does fall on the ground, he starts, like, humping the floor, basically, and, like, moaning and shit. The dog's into it. The dog runs over. Cookie.
Yeah, Cookie.
Runs over and starts fucking...
He gets the makeout session of his life with Cookie.
Yeah, man. It's
So much tongue.
It's pretty gross.
It's so fucking you there's a shot where literally you can see the actor playing Daniel and Cookie's tongues are touching, and I'm just like, oh, this kid fucking actually.
They did mention it's not they swapped it out. It's basically like they had the dog licking something with like peanut butter on it, and then they superimposed that image into, you know, Daniel making out with like a green screen dog or some
Thank
shit.
God.
Yeah, seriously, they didn't
Yeah, it
put
didn't
this
actually happen.
poor kid through that.
Disclaimer in the credits: no dogs were actually made out with in the making of this movie.
Well, they did a good job with the superimposition then.
Yeah. But yeah, he's, oh my God, this is the grossest part. Like, just making out with this fucking dog. Ugh.
See the hairs fucking dangling from his face, like Cookie's hair, and just slobber. And I'm gonna go into the details. We got to paint a picture for these people.
No fucking thanks. Anyway,
Dustin's like, I want to forget about this as quickly as possible, actually.
I did until you brought it back up, you piece of shit. No.
Can we please keep talking about it?
Daniel, when he finally breaks from the spirit, he fucking jumps up and he's like, delete your fucking videos. Oh my God, this can't see the light of day kind of thing.
Well, and it calls back to that party scene in the beginning. It's just like, you put your fucking phones away. He's having a bad trip kind of a thing.
Right.
And yeah, I think there are a couple callbacks to the beginning moment, but this is the first one where it's just like, no, why would I fucking want this on the internet? That's humiliating.
Right. But then immediately after that, Mia is like, I want to go again.
Yep.
And
Please put me back in the chair.
Jade's like, after that, you want to make out with my dog too? Jesus.
Well, she says, get your thought dog
Yeah.
out of here, and
Thought dog, I like
no
that.
cameras.
Yep. She put fucking cameras away, and then they fucking have at it. We got a montage where everyone's kind of taking turns. They have this cool song playing in the background, but during part of it, Mia is like singing in French in this crazy voice. It's pretty cool.
Start to realize again, like, speaking in a language she might not know.
Right.
I tried looking this song up when I watched it last night, and I couldn't find exactly what everything was from. The track itself showed up as being on the soundtrack, but I tried looking up the French that Mia was speaking, and it's something else that's not from that song. Actually, I couldn't really find anything too much on it.
I think what she's singing is like an older, like 20s or 30s, like French jazz song or
Right.
something like that, actually. I think I heard that. But
Yeah, I couldn't find too much.
Haley smokes a joint with the hand.
Yeah, right.
That's fun.
This party montage was so weird for me the first couple times I seen it because, I mean, yeah, there's some joints around or whatever, but it goes back to the, hey, this hand is kind of like doing drugs itself, to where the party montage is everybody going under or under the spell, whatever you want to call it, you know.
Yeah, they might be drinking a little bit, they might be smoking a little weed, but the fucking hand is the drug.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it, instead of passing around the J, they're passing around this hand.
Right.
So the kids want to try it, James and Riley. Jade shuts that shit down immediately. She's like, no, absolutely not. You're not doing it. Jade definitely has good, like, maternal instincts.
Yeah.
And people should have fucking listened to her. Like, oh, yeah, maybe she's lame and boring or whatever. But no, she's making good fucking points.
Right.
The kid shouldn't be doing this. Nobody should
Unfortunately,
really
she
be
just
doing
makes a
this.
bad choice then, and then she fucking walks out of the room.
Yeah, and then leaves them to their own
Hey,
devices.
don't do this. I'll be back.
Okay, bye. Yeah. But Jade and Riley have an exchange where he's like, I hate you. And she's like, you're my favorite person in the world, which is all, they're blowing smoke out of their ass. Like, obviously they don't mean these things.
Yeah, no, it's like the younger brother pissed at the older sister because she won't let him have some fun kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm. And he keeps begging. He's like, well, come on, Mia, let me do it. What about 60 seconds? And she's like, 50. And he's like, deal. Fucking. So it's Riley's turn. He grabs the hand and says, talk to me. And it looks like he fucking immediately regrets it. I think what happens is he sees Mia's mom and knows it's her, but doesn't know how to say that.
Yeah, they actually don't show what he sees here. They kind of
No,
leave
He's
it to
the only one they
imagination.
don't. Yeah, I mean, like, outside of the montage, obviously they're not showing spirits back and forth, but I mean, Riley, they make it a point to not show who
Which
he's
makes
talking to.
which kind of confirms it for me. He sees Mia's mom.
It's a good pickup. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So she tells him, or just say it. Just say it. And he goes, I let you in. And all of a sudden we've got Mia's mom talking to her through Riley. That's a pretty fucking heavy scene. She's immediately like, I'm so sorry, me. I didn't mean to leave you. I would never hurt you or whatever. And turns out it ends up being Mia's fault that Riley is under for too long. Essentially, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, she tells him not to stop, right? Like,
she's like, "Oh, it's my mom. It's my mom.
They
No,
can-
please give me another couple seconds, whatever."
I mean, you kind of, I think Haley says something, or maybe Josh says something like, okay, we're at 60 seconds already. And she's like, no, don't cut it off. Like, that's my mom. I got to talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, in that moment, Mia thinks she's getting some kind of closure, some kind of communication. And so she's just like, no, I just like to hear my mom's voice again. Like, we can't do that. Like, don't, please. And then, man, Shit hits the fan real quick.
Boy, does it. Jesus Christ.
Hereditary desk scene times 50.
I was going to say, speaking of A24 movies, I fucking love Hereditary. We're definitely covering that bitch one day. Yeah, this gave me vibes of that for sure. Because Riley starts slamming his fucking head on the table hard as shit. I kind of wonder if it's the body that is possessing him doing it to itself, or is it like the spirit like grabbing his head from behind and slamming it on the table? I don't know. Maybe a couple of different takes on that, but
could be. Yeah, I mean, could be like a rejection of the spirit. Could be, it's literally the spirit doing it, so that way they can take Riley right then. Yeah. You already went past your time limit.
But on the first slam, blood starts streaming down his face.
Yeah,
and
so
he's immediately
visceral.
Fucked up. Oh my God, it's rough. It's yeah. Trigger warnings, everybody. This is a rough fucking scene. So he's slamming his head on the table. Then he tries to pull out his own fucking eye.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, oh God.
Which, speaking of themes on this show, we've got eye trauma in basically every movie we've fucking covered so far.
Yeah,
that's what we want.
Eyes and fingers.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, not necessarily fingers. We got appendages. But yeah, man. There's one shot where it looks like he gets like his finger under his eyelid, and he is so close to pulling his eye out.
He's got a hold on it.
It's fucking so rough. Made me squirm for sure.
So Mia finally kind of gets his hand away from his eye, and then the chair slides across the fucking room, slams into a window and breaks it. And then the chair, you can see it kind of turn on its own 90 degrees, and he starts slamming his fucking head on another, like, I don't know what it is.
Like kind of like a buffet, like one of those antique wooden buffets.
Yeah, maybe kind of sort of a corner hutch, some sort of dresser perhaps, or whatever it is. He's slamming his fucking head on that again. This is about the time
the side of his head, too.
Yeah.
So like it looked like he was slamming his temple down.
Mm-hmm. And this is about when Jade runs back in, sees what's going on, freaks the fuck out, and thankfully runs over in time to put her hand in the way. She like saves the death blow. I think that would have killed him.
Yeah, I think
for
so,
sure,
too.
100%.
If her hand wasn't there, yeah, he'd be out. Joss and Haley are immediately freaking out because they're like, the cops already know about the Duckett thing. We were there.
Yeah, this is where you find out like they say like they're gonna try to pin the Duckett thing on us now.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fucking mention the hand. Don't fucking mention the
We're
hand.
the common denominator in both of these events.
Yeah.
So they're like, we got to get the fuck out of here, basically. Joss is like, we're fucked, basically. Mia walks out in kind of a fugue state. She's just...
Oh, yeah. You can tell that she's just kind of traumatized by the whole thing, but she walks out and you're really not sure what's going on with her, and then she sees her mom in the window again.
Yeah. I think
this
she's
is
like,
where she walks in the kitchen and she hears the scratching at the door.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, she's still around, kind of a thing.
Sees kind of not a silhouette exactly, but pretty much like through a frosted glass window.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I thought, this is where I wrote like, well, out goes that sibling relationship, because like I get that she's traumatized by what just happened, but also Jade actually is the one that's sitting there with him, like fucking calling the ambulance and everything, and Mia's just like, nah, I'm out too, like,
right.
And it just really sucks. I wrote that Haley and Joss, it's shitty that their first reaction is this is going to go down on us, and Mia just kind of leaves him.
Right. Well, think about everything Mia's going through. It's 2 years since her mom died.
Yeah.
Riley just went through the whole possession thing, and it was her mom talking to her. Now, all of a sudden, Riley's fucked up.
Well, and she does probably, the guilt is just bearing down on her shoulders. Yeah. I get it.
Everything's just all too much, So Jade calls Sue and says Riley's in the hospital. That's when we go back to Mia and Max, and she's kind of pissed at her dad, and he goes, I wish you'd be honest with me about what happened to Riley. Like, obviously, something provoked that situation. She's like, no, we didn't give him any drugs. Nothing happened. He just freaked out, which is a lie. But he's like, I want you to be honest. And she's like, well, yeah, like you've been so honest with me.
Right. talking about her mom, right?
Yeah. She says, there's something you haven't told me about mom. But he doesn't give in at this point. She doesn't find out at this point. But we do see that Mia has the hand now. And she basically took it from the party, and she's going to try to talk to her mom.
Yeah, I think Haley and Joss definitely didn't want to get caught with that hand, so somebody had to take it. So, yeah, Mia ended up with it, and
They're like, well, Mia likes this hand so much, give it to her.
probably not the greatest idea,
No, not at all. Especially when we see what she tries to do with it later. But then we do see Mia come and visit Riley in the hospital, and everybody is like, this is the part where I was like, all right, Act 2, fuck Mia. Everybody hates her. Like,
Yes.
Jade doesn't want her there. Sue doesn't want her there.
Sue is pissed off.
Yes, dude. She goes, what did my son ever do to you? Like,
Right.
She kind of drives that like druggy point home again. She's like, I told you not to fucking give him anything, you little druggy. And one thing I noticed is the score drags out from the possession scene through the scene with Max, and then it doesn't end until the end of the hospital scene. It's all the same piece of music that slowly is like distorting.
Okay. Nice. Good catch. Yeah, what did my son ever do to you? Mia ends up seeing another reflection of her mom in a window, because she's like kind of walking around after that, kind of fucked up, looking at other people's hospital rooms, which, mind your own business.
Yeah, stop peeping in. It's got to be a violation somewhere.
But yeah, she does see her mom's reflection, and then she goes into the bathroom, and there's a weird scene where one of the stall doors slams, and she thinks her mom is in there for some reason. Like, I don't know what she's...
She follows her in there. She sees her mom at the end of the hallway, and she just turns, and then so she goes in there and then realizes it's the bathroom. She goes in the bathroom, and one of the doors is already shut, and there's like a banging against the door.
Gotcha.
And then she finally gets it open, and there's nobody there.
Yeah, I think her mom's talking there too. I remember hearing something about like help me or something. So she was hearing her mom in the stall,
Right.
And then it was supposed to be imitating her dad,
Not being
finding
able
her
to
mom
open the
not being
door.
able to get the door open yet.
Gotcha. Nice. Hell yeah. So Mia runs out of the bathroom all fucked up, and Daniel sees her and tries to say something to her, and then she like runs down the stairs, and he chases her out, and he's like, hey, what's going on? They end up leaving together, and Daniel mentions, I'm 18, so the cops didn't call my parents, but I can't go home. They'll know something's up. They think I'm staying with my cousin. So she's like, all right, well, you can come stay at my house, big boy. So yeah, he goes and stays at Mia's. We do see at this point, there's like a little heart scratched into the door that says like Daniel and Mia or something.
Yeah, so obviously like they did more than just hold hands, and he says like, oh, I forgot we did that.
Or at least it meant more to them,
Yeah,
than you would think.
it wasn't just a party fling or something like that for sure.
Mhm. But that's what they keep bringing up. Remember when we held hands? Like, is that like an innuendo? Like, hey, we held hands,
We
if
held
you know what I
hands.
mean.
There's definitely some sexual tension or something happening here more than what they're all alluding to. You know, you can definitely tell.
Yeah. So we cut back to the hospital. Jade walks outside in a fucking torrential downpour. And she sees her mom smoking in the car, which, Jesus Christ, with the smoking, with the windows up, and her being wet, it has to smell so fucking bad in there.
Well, and then, Sue's still just wreathing at this point. She's just like, no, don't fucking hold my hand. Like, I can't even comfort you right now.
Right. Yeah, she goes to grab her hand. She pulls it away. No one speaks, which, kind of tells you what mental state they're in at the moment. Like, no one really knows how to move forward.
This was another one that was an extended scene that they cut down where you actually find out, oh, your lights flickered. Another possession movie, cursing the studio. But you actually find out in this scene, and I think it makes it more powerful that you don't find out until later, that she knew at that point that there were no drugs in his system.
Yeah.
And obviously it was a creative choice, like, oh, no. Like, we can't give that up yet, kind of a thing, because it'll be more powerful if she hugs Mia when Mia's not completely, but almost gone at that point.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. We go back to Daniel and Mia. Daniel is sleeping, and Mia's being a fucking creep, touching him, being weird. But we then get a cool, another like inverted shot where like it's Mia laying in bed, and then it kind of flips 90 degrees again, and then she's in a dream sequence where she just walks out of the bed. I like that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Like she's laying in bed, and all of a sudden she's on her feet walking.
Right. Good camera work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. But she wakes up, walks out of bed, and kisses Daniel. Ooh, here we go again. But then that's like intercut between that and her like dreaming about her mom's death again. And we get like a visual of the dad pulling the mom out of the room and trying to do like CPR or whatever. And then he's just sitting in the hallway all fucked up, realizing that he can't do anything.
Yeah, he can't save his wife.
Man, that's rough. But then Mia, I thought, legitimately woke up.
Yeah.
And saw someone, or heard someone rather, humming in the corner. And then that person comes out of the corner. It's this nasty lady. Again, all the spirits are fucking gross.
It's the same lady from when she was possessed the second time, and it shows.
I don't think it was. Are you sure?
I'm like 90% sure it's the same lady.
Okay.
Just showing that spirit latched onto her.
Okay.
I also wanted to mention this scene's cool because like it kind of fakes you out because it's super dark at first, and there's like the light is reflecting off of like the closet handles or something, and it kind of looks like eyes, and then you're like it brightens up just enough to where you can see the legs in the corner.
Another more Hereditary vibes. Another A24 movie, like the mom in the corner of the kid's room, the daughter like standing by his bed, and like her head falls off and then rolls, and it's just a ball. Bunch of cool camera work for sure. So the lady crawls out of the corner at her and starts like kind of doing that unnatural jerky movement for a second. And then she fucking crawls over to Daniel and starts sucking on his feet.
Sucking on toes. Man, where's Julia?
Well, no, Julia likes to suck on fingers, okay?
I think Julia just likes to suck on things.
Just appendages in general.
Fucking Julia.
But Daniel wakes up and oh fuck me, it's actually Mia sucking on his foot.
Yeah, Mia's eyes are all white here, like she's
Completely
possessed.
glossed over. Yeah,
Right.
Oh my god. So that's when I think it confirms like she was under too long. This is why she's seeing all these spirits and everything. Daniel freaks the fuck out. He's like, I'm out, dude. Like,
Yep.
she's
Yeah,
like,
that's
no, wait a minute, it wasn't me. I didn't suck on your feet. Like, stay here. And
He's like, yeah, okay,
"Fuck
whatever, you
See,
fucking weirdo.
No shaming here. I feel like Daniel probably could have went back to sleep. Not a big deal, you know. little foot action.
I don't know. Somebody's sucking on my feet. I'm probably out too.
Yeah, like, sure, no shaming, but it wasn't consensual. She just started sucking on toes.
Also, no shaming. I'm just not into that shit personally. I mean, you do what you do, but
Jason's letting us know what he's into.
No.
it's all gonna come out eventually. Mia freaks out, like starts slapping herself. She's like, "Oh, you piece of shit!" And I think she's A, punishing herself for what just happened, and B, trying to psych herself up because this is about the time she tries to use the hand on her own.
Yep.
To talk to mom. So obviously that's a fucking terrible idea. She does see her mom, and her mom tells her Riley needs help. You know, he's in the hospital. Basically, you know, he isn't doing well. You need to do something. So we cut to Sue in the hospital giving Riley a sponge bath, and goddamn, he looks gross.
So one thing I wanted to make sure we talked about here was after Mia is talking to her mom, they get into bed together, and Mia's mom is almost like the big spoon, which is kind of crazy too. So another instance of, I don't think Mia ever closed the door. She never blew that candle out again.
Oh,
you know?
Shit, okay.
So I feel like that explains why everything's about to get a lot worse too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Good catch, for sure.
She said Sue sponge bath.
Yeah, so she's giving Riley a sponge bath. He looks fucking disgusting.
Oh, dude, it's like a scene from Rocky. His eyes all swollen out a few inches.
Shout out to the makeup department in this. I mean, in all of the scenes with the demons and with Riley, but I mean, his face looks legitimately fucked.
Yeah, Riley was the most alarming,
Yeah.
like, arresting image of this movie, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it again, call back to Hereditary, like the look of the girl's face in that, and after it's all decayed and stuff. Like,
and ants crawling all over
Yeah.
and shit. What movie is this fucking podcast about? We're talking about Talk to Me or Hereditary? Jesus.
well, the influences are worn on its sleeve, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So Sue walks out of the room, and almost immediately, Jade is also there. Riley goes to fucking bite Jade, And her hand is all bandaged up from when she stopped him from smashing his head, so that's a cool thing we see.
Bites the hell out of her, man.
Yeah, he bites her and then falls to the floor and starts fucking slamming his head immediately again against the ceramic tile behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then starts trying to lick up the fucking blood.
He's fucking laughing while he's doing it.
Yeah.
His teeth are all bloody and jagged. And
Good God.
oh God, the imagery. This is another trigger warning scene. Like, this scene is fucked. The blood is like mixing with the water and going down the drain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh.
Which in a couple of seconds we'll have some sort of confirmation into, like, Riley's basically taken at this point. Like, the next scene is the kids that were at the party discussing what's going on and what, to do moving forward. And I think Haley says they want to keep him. And then we get the explanation that they actually got the hand from Duckett in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, this is the confirmation that they were there. Like, you hear it before when everything goes down, but it is kind of under their breath. I know I didn't realize they said anything about the party when we saw it in July.
Mm-hmm.
And then last night, like, I had the subtitles on and I was like, oh shit, they mentioned the party here.
Mm-hmm.
And then, this is the 100%. We got the hand from Duckett.
Right. Joss mentions he started seeing the spirits without the hand.
Mia perks up here and is like, oh fuck, he did. Me too.
Right.
Someone mentions that they can imitate people, which is important. Obviously, with Mia's parents, both of them actually.
The first hint that Mama might not be Mama.
Mm-hmm. So they meet up with Cole at like a bus station, and Cole ends up mentioning once he's basically pissed at everyone, especially Joss. He was like, "You're fucking up everyone's lives," basically. He's like, I can't do anything for you, essentially. He gets on a bus, Mia follows him on, and then everybody else kind of follows Mia on. And she starts talking to him about Riley, and, we got to help him. And he goes, well, they should get weaker the longer that they're in him, kind of a thing. And Jade's like, well, I don't know where you get that, because they're clearly fucking killing him. Every time he wakes up, he tries to kill himself.
Well, I don't know why he even thought that. It's like, your fucking brother didn't end for him until he fucking stabbed himself in the head.
Yeah.
They don't call that getting weaker.
Yeah, no, not at all. Yeah, that should be primary evidence for him to be like, yeah,
Cole,
it's
you
not the case.
dumbass.
Yeah, that's probably a good point. Cole, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You're out of your element.
Right. Clearly. So then we get to Fuck Me Apart 2. Everyone at the bus station, maybe a different bus station. I don't know if the bus actually moved or not, but
It's when they get off.
they do get off. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're standing outside, and everyone's like, Mia tries to say like, "Oh, well, you guys were there. Well, like, why didn't you do anything to stop it?" And Haley's like, "We didn't do shit. That was all you, dude." Like, Jade says something about, "I wish you didn't force yourself into my family," and that kind of fucks her up.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Mm-hmm. So Mia gets an idea that she wants to have Riley do it again because they may not have blown out the candle.
Pretty good idea, I'd say. There's a lot happening in that scene,
But the candle, at some point, had to have obviously gotten extinguished.
Oh, yeah, it goes out, but I mean, it's, yeah, you walk away from the Ouija board. You didn't say goodbye. Like,
Sure, but here's the thing. If they start a new session, that opens that session, and then they blow out the candle to close that session. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to affect the original one where he got fucked up, right?
plot hole.
Sorry, Philippoos. We're taking you to task, you sons of bitches. No, I'm just kidding.
It's all right. I'm still giving you a 5 out of 5.
So they take the hand into the hospital and they like have him grab it, which he's fucking unconscious. Why do you think this is going to work? They go talk to him. Like,
yeah, they're making up their own rules at this point.
It's non-consensual. Like, that's not going to happen. You can do it yourself, but you can't have someone who is, passed out at the moment. It's not going to work. It's obviously not going to fucking work. But then Mia tries it, and she's like, well, maybe I can talk to Riley. Maybe his spirit is, like, untethered from his body or something like that because he's in this state.
Which, why not? Give it a shot, right?
Yeah, so worst that could happen, right?
He got to talk. I got to talk to my mom through him, so why couldn't I say, I want to talk to Riley.
Right. I'm sorry, Jason. What's the worst that could happen? Do you want the answer to that question?
We're about to find out.
Can it get any worse?
So when Mia tries it, she sees a little girl, and the little girl goes, "I can take you to him. I let you in." Holy shit.
Yep.
And then we get the craziest fucking scene in the movie. It looks like the shunting from society, like just demonic looking spirits all over the place. Everything is dirty and wet and gross and bloody and nasty.
Holding down Riley.
Holding him down. I think certain people are trying to like eat him, like
yeah,
bite
they're
at him.
biting at him because you see later he has bite marks on his hand or his arm.
Riley's not having a good time.
Yeah, Riley's just getting pulled and yanked on and everything. And I don't know why. Maybe it was just because it was so in your face at the theater, but I thought the theatrical cut, this scene was a little bit longer because we were sitting there watching it last night, and I told my wife, I was just like, buckle up. This is fucking gross.
Well, I believe some of the behind the scenes, they mentioned that the original scene was like 2 minutes long or 5 minutes long or something like that.
shit.
And they
Yeah.
had to cut it way down because of, the
Because of how
MPAA was basically
fucking
like,
gross it was.
yeah, this is too much. You're going to get a different rating if you keep all that in.
Yeah.
The red lighting was really good in this scene, too, to just kind of show you what was really happening in it all.
Also, was that a Hellraiser reference?
What was that?
The pee bag fills with blood.
Oh, yeah. Or it's an IV, isn't it?
No, it's the bag from his catheter.
Oh, okay.
It fills with blood here. I was like,
Nice.
oh, is that Clive Barker?
I mean, we're going to call it one, whether it is or not.
Yeah. I just thought it was a cool thing.
For sure.
Not cool, but you know.
Well, not cool for Riley anyway.
Yeah.
So we get back to a Max and Mia scene where he admits at this point to Mia, okay, you're right. I haven't been honest with you. Your mom left something for us. Can I read it to you? And this is her suicide note. She goes, it's Tuesday. It's raining. This is the first time in a long time I haven't felt hopeless. In fact, I'm full of hope. Let me tell you about all the things I hope. I hope you live beyond your years. I hope you don't hate me for this. Like, obviously an intentional choice, which Mia is obviously arguing with. Like, no, mom told me she didn't commit suicide. This is bullshit.
Yeah, because the spirit of mom, when she showed up in the bedroom, was already kind of filling her with doubt, and the manipulation had started.
Because
saying,
it's the
like,
spirit that she thinks is mom.
yeah, it's like, maybe don't trust your dad. Like, not everything he's saying is true. And it's just like, you could have taken that one of two ways. You could have taken that as in like, oh, dad hasn't given me all the information, i.e. the suicide note, or dad is telling you like she didn't, or dad is telling you she killed herself, but he didn't really.
Right.
And unfortunately, I think she picked the wrong answer of the two.
Well, yeah, she's buying into, because she wants to believe that her mom didn't check out on her own. She wants to believe that she didn't
As anybody
make the
does
choice.
in that situation, right?
Right.
Like, you don't want to believe your family member, especially a parent, would be able to give up to like
chose
that.
to give up and abandon you, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can't handle that idea.
Rough stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So she the spirit rather tells Mia, your dad is he's lying. Don't believe him.
It's not really your dad.
It's not really your dad,
and he's
then-
trying to hurt you, too.
Right, which is about when we get what looks like Max's dad, like trying to shoulder his way into the room, which is another callback to him trying to get into a room to help somebody that he can't. But we also hear that Max is sounding kind of violent in this.
Yeah, when
interchange,
he turns around, his eyes are all white, like he's possessed or something too. He's
when
looking,
he finally does break through the door,
he's looking kind of like some of those ship people we were talking about earlier. He's looking kind of wet and.
Well, so there is two of them at this point, because it
Right.
shows after, because he's banging on the door, and then that's when actual Max is sitting on the couch, and he hears Mia flinging herself around the room, and is like, what the fuck's going on back there?
right.
And
Cutting
then
back and forth between the two.
So to show you, like, oh no, it's really like her dad was telling the truth with the suicide note, but mom is manipulating you with, a second demon here is trying to
Right.
bang down your door.
I did want to mention real quick, when mom is talking to her before fake dad is trying to break into the room, she plants the seed of Riley needs to die. You have to put him out of his misery. Call back to the kangaroo at the beginning.
Yeah,
and she
you
couldn't do
hear
it.
the kangaroo like bang or whatever.
So yeah, pseudo dad is breaking into the room, and yeah, when he finally does get in, we see his face is all fucked up, and he starts to attack Mia.
Yeah.
At least that's her perception, because Max downstairs hears the commotion and runs up, and then he starts trying to come and help her. She grabs some scissors trying to stab fake dad and stabs her real dad in the fucking neck. Oh my god.
That's exactly how a demon would manipulate you.
Yeah. Yeah. Heavy shit.
You know, you're so fucked up about your mom, you're gonna take your dad out.
Mm-hmm. Which then, it's even more fucked up. Like, I feel like Mia is kind of gone at this point because she doesn't do anything to help her dad. Like, does she realize at this point that, oh, this doesn't look like the same dad that was just attacking me? Did I just stab my real dad? And
Well, at this point, it was when I realized Mia hasn't slept at all. Like, every time they show Mia trying to sleep, she's either on her phone watching the clips of her mom,
right,
or she's, watching the, Aussie Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah.
And I don't think she's slept during this entire duration, at least after the second, the possession montage.
Damn.
And so I think she not only is losing it because of the possession, she's probably going a little crazy because she hasn't had sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And so she probably doesn't have much of a grip on reality right now, I don't think. And she's got one mission, and that's, will she kill or will she save Riley?
Right. Damn. Well, she calls Jade saying she knows what to do, and she goes, you just have to come to my house. But she's, pulling the old switcheroo on her, because as soon as Jade leaves, we see that Mia's in the parking lot watching her leave. So yeah, her plan, I believe, because she's still got the scissors in her back pocket when we see her come into the hospital room. So yeah, I think her plan is to listen to Mom. Yeah, Riley needs to die. I got to just take him out. That's the way to end this.
Yeah.
Man.
And you can keep going.
But we do get a touching scene where Sue then apologizes to Mia and basically goes, Riley would love it to know that you're here for him, your family. I'm sorry, I was mad, you're welcome again, which had to fuck me up a little bit more because she's coming here to do this thing.
Getting ready to kill her kid, right?
Yeah. I legitimately teared up in the scene. Like, it's tragic. She's accepting. She knows, like, you're not going to fucking hurt my kid. I know you love him just as much as I do. Like, but what I was just going to say was, I honestly, I think this touching moment is ultimately what helps Mia make the decision she does in the end.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, for sure. So we see Mia goes in and she kind of like asks, oh, can I have a moment with him? And we see like bite marks all over his arm. I was wondering if he was biting himself, probably, or is this like physical manifestations of what we saw happening in the demon world?
Oh yeah,
with them biting
I think
at
so.
him and stuff, right? So the nasty spirit she's been seeing replaces Riley in the bed, and she looks down and the spirit's like, oh, you can't have him, he's ours. But she can't stab him. Like, part of her still knows that it's Riley there. She does look down, and then the spirit's gone. She does see Riley, so she doesn't stab him, but then they keep flipping back and forth. Then it's the spirit again, and he goes, well, why don't you touch me? I want to feel you. Like,
he's
getting
so
sexual
gross.
again.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I got nothing. Move on. Sorry. I had it and it was there. So we'll edit this out.
We cut to Jade then finding Max bleeding out at home. And she ends up calling her mom, and she's like, where's Mia or whatever? Or, I came to Mia's house and she's not here, or dad's fucked up or whatever. And Sue's like, well, no, Mia's here. And she's like, no, you got to go get her. She's dangerous. And Sue fucking springs into action, starts running back to the room, sees that Riley's gone. Like, where the fuck is my kid?
Flips out on the nurse, which, yeah, why the fuck are you, like, not realizing somebody's wheeling a patient down the hallway?
Yeah,
I get they're busy. I mean, my mother-in-law's a nurse, but you can't tell me one person didn't fucking see Mia bring out this mangled boy from his hospital room.
Right. Yeah, it's not like
No
the
alarms
kid is,
went off when the
Maybe
things
they
were
just
disconnected.
Right.
Maybe they just didn't pay much attention to who was in the chair, because I mean, you see somebody wheeling somebody around in a hospital, sure, that's a thing that happens in hospitals, you know?
Yeah, but she's would stick out like a sore thumb, I would think. She's got that bright yellow hoodie on.
Right out the front door too, man. You
Right.
know, like it should ring alarms. I'm sure it would. But,
For sure. Yeah, he's got the hospital gown on and shit still.
Right. He's not mobile himself. He can't talk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he looks bad.
So Jade gets back and sees Mia pushing Riley in a wheelchair to the fucking highway. And then when she gets down there, her mom's, or who she thinks is her mom's spirit, she's back and she's like, all right, you're doing the right thing. I'm so proud of you. I'll be able to protect him. We'll have him forever. And then
we will have him forever.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's when we see the little car accident scene, which we don't quite see what happens for a second, but then we see that just before Jade gets to them, Mia ends up throwing herself into traffic. And yeah, we get the scene where she bounces off the car basically. She in the commotion of everyone running up to like, oh my god, this fucking terrible thing just happened, she gets up and she's like, oh no, it's totally cool, I'm all right. She sees Jade and Riley over on the side of the road, okay, not affected by what just happened. But then boom, she's instantly back in the hospital. They do have a quick little scene where it must be a bit of a time lapse to where Riley is back in his bed, but he's okay. He's back to himself again. Jade's there, Sue's there. They're a happy family again.
Yep.
But Mia sees her dad walk through the hospital, and all the lights in the hospital start turning off one by one. This hallway, that hallway, everything's turning off. She does, I wanted to mention, she sees the older gentleman that she like looked into his window earlier, and he's just sitting on his bed. I think basically that's indicative of he's dead now because his wife isn't there with him in this moment.
Yeah.
I don't think I caught that.
Yeah, I think basically his spirit is, on its way to wherever it's going to go. But she is like following her dad through the hospital. All the lights are turning off. She does look over and see, I think, Riley and Sue and Jade walking out of the hospital. Those lights turn off. And then her dad walks into an elevator that's brightly lit.
Glowing, yeah.
But she can't get to it. The door closes and she's completely in the dark.
All the lights go off.
I think what that's suggesting is that either Max did die and went to heaven, or I think more likely Max ended up surviving, because the last time we see Max, he's still hanging on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he's looking rough, but he's still like, his chest is still going up and down, like he's breathing, but is not doing well. Yeah, I wrote that too. I said, I hope to find out more in the sequel,
right. Which, knowing Jade, I'm sure she called an ambulance in that moment.
Oh yeah, she called 911 as she's getting in the car. Like you said earlier, she's got that maternal instinct, so I'm sure she's calling someone to help him. It's just like they could save him depending on how much blood he lost. But yeah, it's either he's ascending to heaven and she's stuck in purgatory with all the demos.
Yeah,
and demos. And or he's getting away, because you brought up the old man in the hospital. He's still sitting there, and so I think you're right. It is more likely that was symbolizing he survived. He got out because there was a light there. There was a light with Riley getting out, and then the light shuts down. The elevator closes.
Right. So then that puts Mia completely in the dark until she sees a light in the distance, a faint light. And she starts walking toward it, and she sees it when she gets close enough that it's a candle flickering with a hand reaching out across it.
Looks like a psychic.
Right.
Looks like a stereotypical, walk into a psychic's office. They're wearing the robes and whatever.
Replace a candle with a crystal ball. And
yeah.
But yeah, the lit candle, there's the hand reaching out over it, which she then reaches to go grab. And then now we're in another scene at another party with a bunch of Greek guys. They're talking to each other, and then the guy that's holding her hand across the table says, in English, "I let you in." Boom. Smash the credits.
So fucking cool. I love the flip on its head at the end where she's now one of the spirits that they're letting in.
Yeah, and that's a great sequel setup too.
Yep.
Like, maybe from Mia's perspective still, like she could still be a character in this new one.
Yeah, I wrote some stuff down about stuff I hope we see in the sequel. I hope we do kind of get like a, how is Riley coping? How is the family coping?
Mm-hmm.
You know, again, you know, clarification. Did Max die or did he, you know, live through that? You know, and how everybody kind of deals with that. And I think maybe, you know, that'll kind of continue the theme of dealing with grief.
Well, what if it's a situation too where she's in limbo, as you said, purgatory or whatever, and maybe partially the sequel could be her journey of trying to finish whatever unfinished business she's got to.
She's got to fight the soggy man. Shout out to Fangoria with the subscriber exclusive cover, because it was like the cover was the orgy scene for for Talk to Me for that month. It was pretty cool.
Well, that was the issue before I subscribed.
I'll bring it over. You can check it out.
Damn. All right. Well, I like this movie a lot. I think it was a great original installment into the possession genre. It's fucking heavy from start to finish, honestly, but I think the themes are worth the pain here, you know? But no matter which way you slice it, it's an unbelievable debut from the Philippines, and I can't wait to see what else they have in store, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's been confirmed. You know, they are working on the sequel. The A24 officially announced it, so hopefully they're hard at work and we get that within the next year or two.
Yeah.
Because I'm excited. And after that, whether they continue and they make this a franchise, they do Talk 3 Me, I don't know.
Jesus.
But
3 Me. Talk 2-3.
Yeah. You know, but either way, I'm excited to see what these guys do next, you know, maybe with a bigger budget or with whatever A24 wants to throw at them. Because, I mean, this is an incredible debut. I mean, incredible debut from a few of the actors. Just phenomenal all around.
Yeah, I got to say, I think this is probably a 10 out of 10 for me, really. I think this is the greatest movie of the year. Just original ideas, you know, it's hard to come by anymore. There's so many remakes all the time that when you see something that's pretty original and fresh, that, you know, we got to have high hopes for it.
Yeah, and another thing I wanted to mention, I did give it 10 out of 10 possession hands. You know, bringing back to all the themes, I mean, the peer pressure, the drugs, being the outcast kid, just wanting to fit in, all the stupid shit you do as a teen with your friends. I know, like, me and my buddies did this stupid fucking fight club in my buddy's basement. We all just beat the shit out of each other. You guys have any stupid shit that you want to bring up for what you did in high school? It was just like dumb stuff.
I don't really have a whole lot as far as that's concerned, honestly. I mean, I used to wrestle around with my buddy or whatever, but I went to parties and stuff growing up, you know, being a musician kind of in that scene and everything, you know. You're exposed to things, but I don't think anything was particularly crazy.
Yeah.
No comment.
Jason's stories are too X-rated for the podcast.
Yeah, I gave this 8 out of 10 ceramic haunted zombie hands. 10 out of 10 seems a little strong for me. It was a fantastic fucking movie, yes, of course. There's not much about it that I didn't like, but it just wasn't enough to give me, you know, holy shit, this is the best thing ever vibes. Close, obviously 8 out of 10's super respectable, but you know, not quite there for me.
Fair enough.
Either way, I mean, it's definitely one to add to your collection, and it's a good time and an original take. This is a good one to show your friends, just to give them another angle on things, you know, like especially if they're not particularly horror fans, like it's an exciting movie.
Yeah,
it'll draw you in.
It'll put them on the edge of the seat. I know, like, after the scene with what's Riley, after with him, the scene with him in the hospital, like, I'm where he bashes his head against the wall. I was glued to the screen the whole time. I couldn't even stop to take notes. Like, I rewatched a couple of scenes. I kind of dug in and wrote a bunch down after the credits rolled.
Right.
Because I just couldn't even take my eyes off the screen. This is, it's a modern classic.
Maybe the 8 out of 10 had something to do with the fact that when I was getting ready to watch it, I was like, oh God.
It's hard, man. I know a friend of mine who, I mean, she said this movie is the first movie to fuck her up, like, in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree. I mean, it's heavy, not only in themes, but the imagery it shows. The movie's fucked,
Yeah.
but it's an incredible watch.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, I think that's about going to wrap this up. Thanks for talking to us, everybody, or listening to us talk to you about Talk to Me. I had a great time, obviously. Hope you did too. And you can, of course, as always, you can contact us at cinebytespod@gmail.com. You can follow us on social media at Cinebytespod on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is the other one I couldn't think of for a second there. Still got the YouTube going in the works. Still sort of under construction. We'll update you when that starts popping off. But you can also choose to support the show if you feel so inclined by going to cinebytespod.buzzsprout.com. That's going to wrap it up for us. Once again, everybody, as always, remember, dreams are fleeting. Only nightmares last forever. Follow your nightmares.
Killer, Mommy. Killer.
I bid you welcome.